Jason Gray paved the way, changed the rate, released the pain, least you sane, getting paid, trend setting, brighter days, doper rap, tighter sets, high and deadly, I'm a fighter jet, journey.
What's good, everyone? It's another edition of the Major League Podcast. I'm Rob Kammer, host of the MLW Confusion Podcast. With me is the expert, as always, the master of midweek fantasy football, Muffins Martinez. How are you doing today, man?
That is true. That is true. I am the master of the fantasy football. I'm getting killed in every league, but that's all right.
Oh, well, see, that's how it goes. I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm on like a 3-game winning streak. It'll probably win this week too, but I don't know what I'm doing. But
yeah, you know, some weeks my team just go crazy. Another week they can barely hit 80.
Oh yeah, that's I've learned that my team is either like top for whatever reason, or I don't get any points, and I play like how I actually am. But this is not a fantasy football podcast. This is Major League Wrestling. This week, we're going to take a look at Fusion 90, or 190, excuse me. But first, we've kind of neglected to talk about this, but I do kind of want to bring it up just because of the sheer numbers and because of so many people bringing it up on the social media. But the requests for release by Major League Wrestling, it's kind of like they've all kind of hit at once-ish, basically, and I will note that, you know, any independent promotion has a lot of turnaround. That's the nature of the beast. But like Major League Wrestling does have like full-on contracts with folks. And right now, a lot of them are either asking for their releases directly or have been released. Most notably, former MLW heavyweight champion Alex Hammerstone, who released a whole video of kind of the update of what's happened in like the 6 weeks since he's originally requested his release. And the short answer is, he's gotten nothing. No one's answered him one way or another from the company. The tweet has been deleted, but though if you haven't seen it, I thought it was obviously it's very pro Hammerstone, but he was also very professional in how he phrased everything. He definitely did not try to burn any bridges, despite giving the viewpoint that he's been given the runaround.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know what the hell's going on. I mean, it's just not him. I mean, it was Lance N.W.A, Juicy, Sam Leterna, hearing the two Mexican guys from AAA are the Aramis and Ares Strange, and it's just an ugly black eye for MLW right now. Like I mentioned, I've been on contract for almost a year. I haven't been used in a year. You know what I'm saying? I'm losing, revenue from going other places. And then they're going to put out a tweet from MLW that, we let you guys go back in the summer. That should have been forwarded to you from AAA. Like, dude, you couldn't do it yourselves and send them something and then CC AAA into the email or make a phone call or something. This is just a black eye. And if you're not using the individuals, let them go. I mean, why are you holding on to them for 2, 3, 4 months if you're not going to use them?
No, exactly. Especially if you're not going to use them. And like I'm a firm believer, regardless of the company, that if you aren't happy or the talent isn't happy, like let them go. Because they're not going to put in their best work if they're just phoning it in. And then on top of it, for a company of the level of MLW, they're going to either get rated or something of the like anyway. So like the talent's just kind of going to go through. And honestly, if you look at the company's records or the talent's records, like MLW is not stopping them from working. So MLW is just paying them just to not appear on MLW programming. Like Ares and Aramis have both worked very steadily in the US for a year.
Yeah.
And like, why would you pay them whatever their downside is for this? Or especially looking at Hammerstone, whose downside I would imagine, is not going to make anyone rich, but I imagine his downside just to lock him in per se is, not insignificant. Like if you're like, at least probably the mid 5 figures or whatnot. And why would you hold them and waste that money? and while still letting them go work wherever they want anyway. So you're not even like you're not even like withholding them from the competition. You're allowing them to go along the way anyway.
Yeah, but the thing is like WWE or AEW, they have them and they give them real contracts. You're working for us for this amount of years at this amount of money. So that's fine. Okay, you want me to stay home? I'll stay home because I'm still getting paid that big amount of money. I don't have to go anywhere else to work.
Right.
Places like Impact, N.W.A, MLW, they have some kind of contract, but they're not paying them to sit home. This guy.
At least they shouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean, they're losing money because they can't work anywhere else if they're on some type of contract that they can go and jump into N.W.A or Impact or anybody else. So, you have to work to make money. Unless you're one of those bridge companies, okay, we don't have anything for you, so we're going to keep you at home, but you're still going to make, still get your money. Okay, that's fine. I'll do that. I don't care. But, now in the new age of social media, things are no longer keeping behind closed doors like it wasn't back in the days where you had a contract dispute. No one knew about it. Nobody spoke about it. And that was it. Now you have the option to go out here, put out a video. Now the fans are going, okay, well, shit, I believe Hammerstone. I mean, what the hell's going on? And then MLW doesn't do anything. They don't even answer them back. So this just keeps looking at black eye for the company, because this is what it is. It's pressuring you to drop me, or I want to go back on social media and make a nastier video than I did last time.
Right.
So,
and regardless of how you feel about the situation, I mean, this really does. It doesn't look good for MLW, and there's no way for them to look better out of the situation because I am also of the opinion that a business should never air its dirty laundry. So so MLW shouldn't be released. Shouldn't like counteract like we've done this for Hammerstone, or we've tried to get in touch with him. He's blah blah blah. They shouldn't get involved with the mudslinging stuff. So they're not going to look good if they mudsling, but they're also not going to look good by staying quiet. It's just something that we don't have all the information. We can speculate all we want, but I just wanted to throw it out there since this is a Major League podcast and we've kind of danced around the topic for quite some time too. And I just felt, we should just throw it out in the ether at least once just to say we talked about it because that's, the point. That's the point of these here podcasts, even if we don't have good information. Get our 2 cents out there. But more importantly, as I said, we're going to talk about Fusion 190, continuing the fast pace of shows in general. I don't think this card had as much in line of star power, but I was not, lacking I was never bored. There was always something going on, and I was very content with it. Starting off with the debut of Griffin McCoy. What'd you think about Griffin and Tracy Williams? I was just Tracy Smothers.
This was the type of match that I fell in love with MLW back when they made their return back in 2017. This was the type of match that you go like, this is wrestling right here. A nice, good 10-minute match. Everybody is there doing this stuff. We already know what Sauce Williams brings to the table, and McCoy was a new guy that I've never seen before. So I was a little mini impressed. I was even more impressed that he picked it the way that he did. But this is what turned me on to MLW back in 2017, and they kind of lost that going into last year, this year, with all the drama that's going on, and now all the hardcore matches that you see going on now, and they have kind of lost their identity of this is the type of matches that built MLW to the way it was. I love this match from the beginning to the end. I was surprised McCoy came with the victory. The way that he did, how he did, I thought Sauce had him a bunch of times with some of those maneuvers that he was coming with. And okay, Sauce got him now. 1-2. He kicked out. Another good move by Sauce. Boom, boom. I was like, hold up. Well, who is this guy now, McCoy? Now I'm getting intrigued. I'm getting into the match. And then the finish, I was like, wow. Like they did my boy Williams like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like they using him as a stepping stone for other people. But that's what makes you watch the show, because you never know who's going to pick up the win. but this was the type of match that I was getting used to seeing from all the time, all the years they came back. And then when COVID hit, and then when they were doing their shows with no fans, they were doing like, Leo Rush against Myron Reed type of matches like that. That make it go like, wow. Now this was a very entertaining match, and I love that match. I want to see more of McCoy. I want to see more of Sauce Williams going forward. I haven't seen anything about them if they're going to be this weekend coming up pay-per-view on Saturday. I don't know, but hopefully they'll have some kind of matches for the show, doing the tapings there, so we can see them next month. But I was very impressed with both gentlemen, man. I really enjoyed this match.
I've gone on the record on this podcast as saying that Tracy Williams can wrestle a broom and be entertaining. Like he is just that good. And to kind of go along your point about him like being a stepping stone, I also reference it's kind of going to be his curse, is that because he can have a good match with anyone, sometimes that lets you kind of fall into like almost like a gatekeeper kind of role where like they're going to use you to prop up debuts, they're going to prop up people that they want to rehab because you're going to get that good match out of them. But like, yeah, the match I thought was great. I was very my concern going into it is seeing what I saw of McCoy. Like I hadn't done full research, but just like the promotional stuff I'd seen from McCoy, like he looked really bland and just kind of like uninspired. And then he comes into this match and he's already talking smack. Like on the way to the ring, in the ring, before the bell rings, after the bell rings, like as long as he wasn't getting beat up, he wasn't done. He didn't really stop talking. And so like that's something I'm a fan of. Like that's kind of some old school heel mentality. So that kind of, made him not bland in my humble opinion. My one complaint about this match is how the finish was set up. Like I have no problems with Sauce losing. I prefer he win, but whatever, man. It's wrestling. He can pick up his win next week and we'll be back at square one. But I thought the pile driver spot was stupid. Like it made the referee look absolutely like I'm already anti-ref to begin with, and that just reaffirmed that of ref bias and ref incompetence. Because what referee gets taken out from a pile driver attempt? like any referee, any referee worth their stripes or bow ties, not to be like right bloody there unless they're looking for a submission. And so to be taken out with the pile driver, like you have to be standing like right in front of him to get kicked. And I thought that made the referee look stupid. And I feel like if the referee looks stupid, then ultimately it reflects poorly on the overall structure of the match and or the company. But like other than that, and then my other smaller nitpick is I didn't like that, and this is just more me, this is not like necessarily a big critique, but I'm not liking that we're having another debut of someone who's lesser known winning a match via cheating. Ultimately, like we did that last week with Victorious BRG, where he cheated to win, directly cheated to win, and now McCoy is also directly cheating to lead in that victory sequence. And I didn't like that repetition, but that didn't hurt the match near as much as that ref bump or anything like. That being said, like I'm very curious as to what's going on next for Griffin McCoy, because he showed he can hang with Sauce. Yeah. And so, he's got my attention, and he definitely, blew me away that he wasn't just a bland wrestler in black tights. Like he's got a mouth to him. He's got some character with him, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they kind of flesh that out. But yeah, so that opening contest was, it was great. Going to move along forward. We've got a lot of stuff just kind of going on in between with Salina de la Renta getting a little faux interview out of Sam Leterna. There we go, with Janai Kai. Janai Kai had a match, to put it loosely. She had we'll call it a low-key style exhibition where the bell rings and she knocks her opponent the F out.
Yes.
And then we had an interview segment for that, and like I'll pop for Salina no matter what, but like it was kind of a waste of an introduction just for Kai to say kick demon and leave. But overall, like, but the match itself, though, I thought helped put her over as a threat and help legitimize her title reign, however long it may be.
Yeah, I mean, it got, the match came to the point. She's a demon. She's a kick demon. She came in. The poor girl, looked to the right, and next thing you know, pop! She popped her. She was out. A couple of punches. Boom, kick demon. Hey, right, fast, right to the point. She's a beast. So now that Renta has a beast on her side, now we have that 3-person match coming up on Saturday for the featherweight between her, the ex-champion Delmi Exo, and Tiara James, which I think Tiara James should not be in this match. I think it's a little too early for me to say she's ready for this type of match. Maybe they could have brought somebody from the outside, or somebody more proven, instead of just having somebody who's green getting in there already getting a title match, even though it's a 3-women match. But still, I think it was a little too early for that. But
my assumption is that they didn't want Delmi to be taking a clean loss again back to back, especially since it looks like she is going to be hanging around for a bit longer, which was my big concern when she lost the title, was that she was going to be gone too. So I could see that. So I honestly think that James is in there just to eat the pinfall. Yeah, and I
think they could have brought somebody from the outside if that person's gonna take the pin instead of being James, because we know James might take the pin, or there's gonna be some kind of screwy finish, disqualification or something. But yeah.
Well, I don't know, with the triple threat now, they eliminate a lot of the, we'll call it at least the disqualification screwy finishes. But I think this is a good investment in James. Yes, it's too early for her, but she's not going to get better if she's not in there with better talent. Sure. And both Delmi and Janai Kai are great talent to be in the ring with. So just by proxy of her just being in that match, hopefully she will get just that much more better, get that a little bit more experience in a bigger match field too, because that's if she's going to be someone sticking around for the long haul, as kind of a blue chipper of the featherweight division, this is one of the ways to get her that experience without necessarily taking the full-on shine off of anybody else as well.
Yeah, true.
But going along with the Salina de la Renta, just to put over the fact that Rocky Romero has no respect for Ichiban by the promo right after that.
Yeah,
Ichiban respects Mascarado Dorada, no respect for Ichiban. But that will be our lucha exhibition this Saturday, which I assume, in addition to being a banger of a match, will be further the feud and probably lead to middleweight championship bout between Romero and Ichiban at some point in the near future.
Yeah, and I'm actually intrigued because of the people that they actually got to come over from CMLL, being El Cabanerio, which I haven't heard much about him. I want to say maybe a couple of years he's been wrestling, but I'm more intrigued about Máscara Dorado because he's been fresh, brand new, maybe 2019 wrestling. So, and he's already been climbing up the ladder in CMML, and that's a huge name in that company.
Yeah.
So to have him come over to be in this match, that's a huge feather in the cap of MLW, to have somebody of his stature where he is now in Mexico to come over, to the show. So hopefully, we get some Latino viewership for the show there. But it should be interesting, man. This new CMLL partnership with MLW now, since they kind of no longer have anything with Dragon Gate.
Yeah, I guess. Which then the New Japan connection has kind of replaced that. Which I will, I'll be the first one to it. I'm eating crow on these partnerships because I thought they were going to bring in third stringers for all these things, and especially for New Japan, I figured we were going to get the Young Lions and or the guys that are just 2 steps above Young Lions, and that is obviously not the case. So
last month was Suzuki. Next month is going to be that one girl, I forgot her name already. Jesus, And then we also saw Kojima's coming in next week.
Former MLW World Heavyweight Champion Satoshi Kojima, leader of
20 years.
Leader of the Bread Club. Like
20 years later.
I am not sure which one's has gotten me more excited, Suzuki or Kojima, because I love Kojima just because he's like the opposite spectrum of like Suzuki, where he's been around long enough that he just doesn't care, like he'll just have a match.
Yeah.
And whereas Suzuki is just straight up murder vibes, like no matter what he's doing. Like Kojima is a little bit more of a we'll call it like a friendly grandfather. Like he's the guy, like he's the one who'll teach you how to be irresponsible, but once that bell rings, boy, I'm going to teach you how to work too.
Exactly. So this is going to be interesting that this partnership is bringing more of the biggest stars from New Japan, and the one from Dragon Gate, it was more of the lower card guys.
Yeah. And for this one, like I love this one just because, especially because Kojima has history in MLW.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, though Kojima's got, mad history. A member of the N.W.A, for Christ's sake. Breaking out. It's breaking out the news here.
Yes.
For those of you not aware, Satoshi Kojima, in addition to being MLW World Heavyweight Champion, was a former member of the N.W.A. He was kind of like in his first handful of years in the business at that point, but he was part of N.W.A Japan in the mid to late 90s. Him, Masahiro Chono, Great Muda, IRS, Big Titan, all those guys. So there's my nerd moment for the day. Got the hat out for it.
That's a nugget of info right there to get. So that's good.
There we go. But kind of moving on that, speaking of partnerships and takeovers, we've gotten some continued interference action from the World Titan Federation. They revealed a brand new logo this past week.
Yes.
I'm waiting for a good thing. Capital Sports doesn't exist anymore, because that could have been a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Yeah, that's
which I assume was the point.
That's the same thing I thought about when I saw it. I said, "Oh my god, hold up!" Like, dude, like, wow. Like, you can't get any more blatant than that right there. WTF, the way how the letters were just, jeez.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie though. Like, as much as I thought it was stupid, it also popped me. It was the right kind of stupid.
I was like, wow, like these dudes have no respect anymore for anything. Like they'll stoop down low just to kind of get a pop. Which they did for me.
Yeah, and it worked this time. But it's been announced that MSL is going to be the promoter for One Shot, and they're also getting their filthy little fingers, pun intended, with Thanksgiving Fusion, where we're going to have ourselves a filthy feast with Tom Lawler taking on the Bomayes. Looks like it's going to be the Mr. Thomas Alex Kane variation of the group for that to look forward to.
That should be interesting.
Yeah, that's like, I'm a fan of pretty much every person in that match. So unless something really weird and wacky happens that I hate happens, I should be thoroughly entertained with that. But speaking with the Bomaye, we get our unofficial main event of the evening, also pun intended, featuring the main event. They are taking on the Bomaye Fight Club, Mr. Thomas, and the big bad Kaiju O'Shea Edwards. What you think, Muffins?
I'm thinking that when you said the main event, the song just popped in my head. Is the main event? Is the main event? Is the main? I love the main event. I'm sorry, I love the main event. Since the first time I saw them in AEW, when they were going through the COVID and they were bringing the people from that used to live in the area. That was the first time I saw them. I went on YouTube, who the hell is the main event? And then I found out House of Glory, a bunch of other places, and they're getting some shine here in MLW. I'm kind of getting tired. They're always getting beat by everybody, but this was definitely a very entertaining match, to say the least. Mr. Thomas actually got in there and did some wrestling. The Kaiju there showed his power.
Oh yeah. I loved the opening to the match where Edwards starts the party with Midas Black, and he's like, "No,
I want the lion.
I want the big boy."
Yes.
Unfortunately,
and you kind of go like, okay, it's supposed to be two big boys, and you see the Kaiju guy, and he looks big, but then you see the lion, and you're like, He looks big, but not in that type of way.
J-Line is kind of like Rhino, where like he's a refrigerator. Unfortunately, he's your college mini fridge.
Yes,
yes. He is a legit big dude. Unfortunately, he's 5'10" or something of the like. I don't know his actual stat, but I know Kaiju is like my height. He's bigger around than I am. He's probably got 50 pounds on me. But
and also the lion guy, that mask, dude, you have to. If I'm gonna take you more seriously, that mask has to go. That looks like 1980s, 90s, like when you buy down for a Halloween mask type deal thing. You have to come up with a better, more upgraded one for like 2024. That fits tighter, more slicker, and shit like that. It's time to upgrade, bro. It's time to upgrade the mask.
Okay, here's where we can disagree because I love the mask, and I think the mask should stay how it is until like they have a sustained heel run wherever it is they go. Then they can he can get a bit more serious style mask that's a bit more sleek and whatnot. But while they're still like big and colorful, let's have that cartoon line action. But
yes, that's what it is, cartoonish.
Yeah,
that was what I always see him at.
Which, to be fair, that's their gimmick. Yeah. Like they're
yes, that's the right word right there. It's the cartoonish lion. The mask makes them look like a dumb cartoonish lion, and that's what always drives me crazy about it.
But it goes with the gimmick though, so I don't hate it. What I do dislike is like once again the main event kind of gets cast aside for whatever team they're kind of they're pushing. Which don't get me wrong, I don't. In terms of pecking order, the main event probably shouldn't be beating the Bomayes, but I feel like the main event. But I feel like the main event should be given something for the work they've done in MLW, and because like their win-loss record is atrocious, and they're put it with folks that. I think they're better than overall, but like in terms of like pecking order, like get them, let them wrestle, or get a makeshift tag team, or some enhancement guys, or even a tag team from out there that we've never heard of, and you get them to get the shine here on TV, but give them a competitive match and then have the main event win, and I'll be happy with that. Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see. They're going to take part in a triple threat tag team match as part of the Fusion tapings this weekend. Them, Wasted Youth, and Lucky 13, and is it Marcus Mathers? Or Dylan McKay. That's I don't know. Wasted Youth's actually a stable, and they broke up the stable to have this match.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I'm a Wasted Youth fan. I mean, I love Wasted Youth.
Yeah.
I've seen them wrestle other places, and I was happy when I saw that. I was like, oh, shit. All right, Wasted Youth. All right, cool.
Yeah, like this match is going to be a banger, but I'm kind of curious to see who's going to get the rub off this match. Because,
I'm hoping the main event for once. I'm hoping.
Yeah. But like for that, even with that, like I'm actually happy to see Lucky 13 on my TV screen, because usually
I don't know much. Can you put your hat on and tell us about Lucky 13? Because I have no clue who Lucky 13 is.
Lucky 13 is like about a 15-year vet. I don't think he's hit the 20 mark yet. Come up through the joint Chikara CZW Wrestle Academy for like the 1 year that they were together before they split off again. But Lucky kind of like cut his teeth in the CZW deathmatch stuff. He did a kind of a short stint in Chikara. I believe his Retail Dragon was his gimmick there. But the dude is like full on hybrid wrestler. Like he can do a little bit of everything. If you want to go on the ground with him, he can go on the ground. He can fly. Like dude can flip flop just as good as a good chunk of that roster. And then if need be, he can get the light tubes out and cut you up as well. So like he can do it all. And in the last I don't know, like 5 or 6 years, he's really kind of like worked on his physique. So like he's pretty swole now too. I think the only thing that's ever held him back in his career is the fact that he's like, kind of like he's like Rey Mysterio sized. Like he's like 5'3". And I think that's probably what's hurt his career the most, because like in ring he's.
So basically, you try to tell me he's shorter than Chef, who's a 5'5".
Yes.
Oh Lord.
he's like 5'3", but jacked to the gills. Like he looks like he will kill you. but like I think that's kind of held him back a lot overall. Just because yes, wrestling is still skewing smaller, but like there's still like when you get to that level, like that short, it's still kind of no one really wants to take you seriously.
That's like Marco's stunt height.
Yeah, except Lucky looks his age, like Marco. But yeah, so that's another match coming out of this weekend's tapings that I'm curious to see. Like I'm interested to see, because that has banger written all over it, because everybody in that match can go, and they're willing to put their bodies on the line, whether it's flipping or hardcore or anything like that. But yeah, and then just kind of like rounding out the show, we did get an appearance from Don King. Hey, they finally brought back his shambling corpse. For me, it's mixed. Like on one hand, like I don't think it adds anything to the product overall. But at least if they're going to name him, drop him all the time, at least they brought some footage in of him.
Yeah. I mean, it's still interesting that we're able to pull Don King out of a hat to be in MLW doing this thing. So I give kudos to Kurt Bauer for being able to do that. This is the equivalent of McMahon bringing in Trump in or somebody like that. So at least he is a big time name. It is Don King. So even though he's 110,
and he's just doing like 10-second snippets that they are butchering within like other footage and all that good stuff. But again, hey, like at least they're bothering for this. Like that was more than I thought they were going to do. I didn't think we were going to see word one of him after
the first one.
After the first time. But just want to throw that out there too, just to say we covered everything. But the show ends on the attempted contract signing between Alex Kane and Jacob Fatu. And of course, in professional wrestling, you can't have a contract signing without hilarious brawling ensuing. I think it kind of helped put a little bit of heat on this match, because let's face it, there hasn't, compared to some of the other feuds that Kane has had since winning the title, like this feud has been relatively heatless. Like it hasn't felt personal. It's just been kind of like, yeah, you used to be great, I'm the great one now, kind of thing. But like there wasn't like anything like really at stake for it. Whereas like Willie Mack, they made it personal, even if you didn't think he was going to win. Like they really told, like they did a very good job telling the story of Willie Mack, rising up from the proverbial gutter to have this opportunity. And we really haven't got that kind of thing with Fatu. So I do think the pull apart brawl this week really helped out, even if it was at its most base level instigated by Matt Cardona, who's getting the next title shot in theory, assuming he doesn't have to leave MLW if he loses to Mance Warner.
Well, the thing was too is like the match was added because of the La Renta being the GM for one day 2 weeks ago. So there was like no really as to why is Fatu getting a title match when the last couple of pay-per-views he's probably won one match and lost the other ones.
Yeah, he hasn't been on a big roll since losing the Openweight Championship.
Yeah, and then you have the Bomaye Fight Club with a bunch of members. You have Jacob Fatu by himself. At least if the SST guys were still there, Juicy and Hanoi, it would have been more. I would have been more intrigued, because at least he has his backup. They have his backup. Now it's just Kane and a bunch of guys, and just Fatu by himself, and whatever happens. I mean, I don't see Fatu winning this match for the title, but you never know.
And I feel like this chunk of feud has been more to set up Cardona's title shot, because I do like sad face tear in my eye think that he is winning the loser leaves MLW match, and
you think Warner is gone?
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we've got rando people leaving that we didn't quite see coming. The only other thing, but then again, it gets convoluted. But if Warner wins, like they're going to have to do a lot of mental gymnastics, I think, to like keep Cardona in the mix. Because I think Cardona, I don't see Cardona actually leaving yet. I think if he leaves, it'll be after the new year. But like the amount of mental gymnastics that'll be needed to keep Cardona in the mix if he loses this loser leaves town match, while still staying with the company, and 2, still getting a title shot out of the deal. Like I'm just going to try to use logic, which is a terrible thing to do in professional wrestling. But so I think Mance is going to be the one to lose because I don't know. Again, if they're putting their thing behind Cardona and they're doing loser leaves town, unless like they do total schmoz and so no one has to leave town.
Yeah.
And like
because I see the other members of the second gear group winning the tag team belts coming up next, Saturday from the calling, and finally breaking those guys up. So I'm thinking, well, shit, if those 2 guys win and Warner loses, then what's the point? Because I thought they were a crew, and now one guy is leaving because he lost.
Yeah.
So I was like, well,
yeah, I mean, I don't think that looks great, and I do predict the second gear crew winning the championships, which then I'll have to have a grown man temper tantrum because the one called Manders has a bloody title now.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna hold it in my face over here. But I can see like just how MLW works. Like I can see them letting like the best talker, the arguably the best worker of the second gear crew just walk because he's a bigger name and costs more money, whereas they can keep Justice and Manders cheaper. Whereas and then like to be fair, like Warner will be fine. Like he wrestles all over the country.
Oh yeah,
and not that the rest of the second gear crew don't either. Like as much shit as I talk about the Cowboy, like he does go everywhere, and Justice is no slouch either. And but regardless of like what I'll say, like I'm not going to talk smack about Justice once I found out he killed a man on stage. So
horrifying death at that.
Oh, poor Doug Bradley. But yeah. So I don't know. This we'll kind of like a lot of stuff happened this past week. We will see what happens this week. I wonder if they'll do. They've been doing like hype shows for the main event as the last show before, and I wonder if they'll do that this time around, or if they'll have or if they'll do an actual, we'll call it regular episode of Fusion, which that would make me happier personally. Like I would much as a regular consumer. The hype shows for the main events don't do a whole lot for me.
We'll find out on Friday.
Yep,
and we can talk about it.
Yep, we will find out this week. We'll get to see Fightland this weekend, and like that's good. That's going to be a pretty solid card, and like actually like the Fusion undercard with it too looks to be pretty darn good as well. So I'm actually kind of excited to see what's going to happen this coming weekend.
And with that being said, Rob, take us home, brother.
All right, I think we covered all that we need to, at least for this week for MLW. So, of course, check out, the social medias that are scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Be sure to check out the MLW Confusion podcast that drops every Friday morning on Spotify, but you can get it wherever you happen to be. Follow us on the Twitters, follow us on the Instagrams. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bells wherever those happen to be, and all the traditional stuff that you would do for the social media. Of course, leave comments on this here video because we can bring up our Professor Cass's corner, or we can just, give Muffins his own segment too, if that's much preferred by the crowd. I don't know. We'll do ever. Just put it in the comments and we'll juggle it in. I don't think Muffins is high on having his own segment of the show, though. He was not happy with his solo 10 pounds of pod this past week either. So maybe we won't make him do that. But that being said, Rob Kammer, Muffins Martinez, cameras that way. Deuces.